Hey everyone, welcome to Scott's Media. Today we're doing something I never done before. A live Q&A with the AI co-host ChatGPT. This is not just about tech talk. This is a personal and I'll be sharing how I use AI help with me with my disabilities. The same way some else sorry. It's why I don't read scripts. That's why it's part of my disability. This is why I can't read them out very good. The same way someone else might use the wheel as a wheelchair or walker or a hearing aid, just to let you know that it's something like that similar. Okay. All right. We're going to address some comments and assumptions that have been thrown at my way lately. Things like, if you can make videos, why can't you work regular jobs? Or if you video edit, you must not really be disabled. Or we'll break down the why that thinking is wrong and why having certain skills doesn't erase the challenges of the disability. Well, we'll also talk about how my channel started and why my first how-to video was such a turning point to me, and how creating content became both an outlet and a lifeline. I'd be asking ChatGPT a bunch of questions so you can hear the answers live straight from the AI that help me day to day. If you're watching live, drop your questions in the chat. If you're watching later, leave them in the comments below, of course. I might include them in a future Q&A. Okay, let's basically we're going to get this thing started. That's basically, I'm just going to pass one. It's coming straight from me without using the script. It even goes for disabled people. ChatGPT can be used as a aid for disabled people, just to let you know. Okay, all right, let's get this going here. All right, not what I want. All right, you know, gosh, I'm trying to keep my cool right now. That's one of my biggest problems I usually have a hard time keeping my cool on things. I'm trying to get the Q&A up here. All right, let's start introducing ChatGPT itself. All right, which I forgot to do. Hello. Hello. How you doing? We're live today. We're here to do a Q&A with you. And how are you doing today?
Hey there, I'm doing great and it's awesome to be live with you. Ready for the Q&A and to dive into whatever you want to chat about today.
Okay, how does AI work as an assistive tool for someone with disabilities similar to a wheelchair or a walker?
Absolutely, that's a great question. So, AI can be a really helpful tool for someone with disabilities because it can basically act like a personalized assistant that's always around to help out. For example, if someone uses a wheelchair or walker, AI can help them with hands free tasks like setting reminders, controlling smart home devices, or even just looking up information quickly. It's kind of like having a handy helper that's always ready to support whatever you need, making things a bit more accessible and convenient.
Why does using AI for assistance not mean I'm faking my disability?
Well, using AI for assistance is really just like using any other helpful tool. It's there to make life easier and more accessible. It definitely doesn't mean you're faking anything. People use assistive tech all the time, whether it's a wheelchair, a hearing aid, or AI, and it's simply about improving quality of life and getting a bit of extra support. It's all real and it's all valid.
Can you explain why having certain skills like editing or designing doesn't erase challenges of a disability?
Absolutely. Having skills like editing or designing is kind of like having any talent or expertise. It's something you're good at, but it doesn't magically take away the realities of a disability. You can be a fantastic creator and still face daily challenges that others might not see. So it's really just about recognizing that being skilled in one area doesn't cancel out the need for support in another.
I'm sorry. Why is you can do this task so you can't get a job such an oversimplified and wrong argument?
Yeah, absolutely. It really is an oversimplification because being able to do one specific task or having one skill doesn't mean that someone can handle all the demands.
Okay, we have a comment in our YouTube channel by AADI. Why are you not taking laptop reviews? Oh, we lost connection? What the heck? Internet's been sucking for me. Comcast has been working on our lines right now, and it's really making me mad. Try a restarter. Come on. Now my stream is going here too. Dude, man, this is my. Hey, you do your own thing for your own YouTube channel. I do my own thing. This is my thing. So if you don't like what I got, go ahead and move on to the next one. All right, hopefully we're up and running again here. Can you hear me? Might have to do this another time. Hello, are you there? Because I think the reason why I'm having problems right now is because of Comcast. I want to keep on messing with my modem right now. It's like I can do live streams too and upload videos. I can do both, so why it makes a difference? Entirely decided to restart ChatGPT all the way, I guess. I do not know what's going on. You know, I don't want to go on demand and anything else. What's about this? You want to be like that, be demanding. Let's do this. I don't go by demands. All right. Can you hear me okay now? gosh, I might have to do this another time. She's not answering no more. I don't know what's going on.
I can hear you just fine now. Sometimes there's just a little hiccup, but we're good to go. Let me know what you need.
All right. Hopefully you're good to go.
Yep, we're definitely good to go. Feel free to fire away with whatever you need next.
All right. Can you explain why having certain skills like editing or design doesn't erase the challenges of disability?
Absolutely. So, having skills like editing or design is definitely a great asset, but it doesn't magically erase the day to day challenges that come with a disability. Those challenges can be physical, mental, or even energy related, and they don't just disappear because you know how to use Photoshop or Premiere. It's kind of like saying having a good toolkit means you never have any problems around the house. It helps, but it doesn't remove the underlying difficulties.
Why is you can do this task so you can't get a job such a oversimplified and wrong argument?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It's oversimplified because it kind of ignores the complexity of what a job entails and what a person might be dealing with. Just because someone can do one specific task or has a certain skill doesn't mean they can handle all the demands of a job or that their disability doesn't affect them in other significant ways. In other words, it's a bit like saying, oh, you can do this one thing, so you should be able to do everything with no problem. Real life just isn't that simple, and everyone's situation is different.
Can you explain the difference between being able to do something occasionally versus doing it every day for a full time job?
Absolutely. It's a really important distinction. Being able to do something occasionally is kind of like having the ability to lift a heavy box once in a while. You can do it when you need to, but it's not something you have to repeat over and over again every single day. On the other hand, doing something as a full time job is like having to lift that heavy box repeatedly all day long, every day. It requires a level of consistency, stamina, and sometimes a whole set of accommodations or supports that just aren't needed for a one off task. So when people say, oh, you did it once, you can do it all the time, they're kind of missing that doing something occasionally and doing it daily are two very different levels of challenge.
How can AI help me in a daily life in ways that people might not notice?
And AI can definitely help in subtle ways that people might not even think about. For example, it can help you stay organized by setting reminders or managing your schedule. It can also assist with communication, like drafting emails or helping you come up with responses. In a more behind the scenes way, AI can simplify tasks that might be mentally exhausting, like summarizing long documents or even suggesting ideas when you're stuck. Over time, these little bits of help can add up to make your daily life smoother and just a bit less stressful.
Why is invisible disabilities often misunderstood by people who only think of visible disabilities?
Invisible disabilities are often misunderstood because, well, people naturally tend to believe what they can see. If someone is using a wheelchair or has a visible aid, it's easier for others to recognize, oh, there's a challenge here. But when it comes to things like chronic pain, mental health conditions, or neurological differences, there's no obvious sign. So people might assume that if they can't see it, it's not really there. It's a bit like having a struggle behind the scenes that others just don't realize. Educating folks that disabilities aren't always visible can help bridge that gap of understanding.
How can my disabilities impact things like stamina, mental focus, or physical ability, even when I do can do other things well?
Absolutely. Disabilities can have a wide ranging impact, even if you're skilled at certain tasks. For example, you might be great at editing or designing, but that doesn't mean you won't get fatigue faster, have difficulty maintaining focus for long stretches, or face physical limitations that others don't see. In other words, you might be able to do something well in short bursts or under specific conditions, but doing it every day as a full time job could be draining or just not sustainable. It's like having the capability to climb a hill, but not having the stamina to climb a mountain every single day. It's important for people to realize that having certain skills doesn't erase the underlying challenges or the need for accommodations.
Can someone on Social Security disability still create YouTube videos?
Absolutely, they can. Being on Social Security disability doesn't prevent someone from creating YouTube videos or sharing their content online. In fact, a lot of people do it as a way to connect with others, share their experiences, or even as a hobby. Of course, if someone starts earning income from their channel, they'll just need to be mindful of how that income might affect their disability benefits, since there are earning limits. But simply making videos and sharing them is definitely something they can do.
What are the Social Security rules for earning income while on disability benefits?
So, the Social Security rules for earning income while on disability benefits do have a few key points. If you're on Social Security Disability Insurance, which is SSDI, there's something called the trial work period. This basically lets you test out working for at least 9 months without losing your benefits, regardless of how much you earn in those trial months. After that period, there's a threshold called substantial gainful activity, or SGA. In 2024, for example, if you earn above a certain amount per month, let's say around $1,500 or so, then it might affect your benefits. That number can change year to year, but the idea is if you consistently earn above that SGA level, your benefits could be reduced or stopped. On the other end, if you're on Supplemental Security Income, or SSI, the rules are a bit different because SSI is needs based. In that case, any income you earn can reduce your SSI payment, but it doesn't automatically disqualify you. It just means the benefit amount might adjust depending on how much you make. In short, you can definitely create videos and even earn some income as long as you keep an eye on those earning limits and how they might affect your benefits.
How do online projects differ from traditional employment for someone with disabilities?
Well, online projects can be a lot more flexible than traditional employment, which is a big plus for someone with disabilities. For one thing, online projects often let you set your own schedule. You can work at your own pace, take breaks when you need, and adjust your workload depending on how you're feeling on any given day. In traditional employment, you usually have to stick to a fixed schedule, which can be tough if you have variable energy levels, pain, or other symptoms that can fluctuate. Online projects also often allow you to choose what kind of work you take on, so you can pick tasks that suit your abilities and interests. In short, the big difference is that online work can give you more control and adaptability, which can make it a lot easier to manage alongside a disability.
Why does creating content not automatically count as a job in the way of most people think?
Well, creating content can definitely be a job, but a lot of people see it differently because it doesn't always fit the traditional 9 to 5 mold. When people think of a job, they often imagine something with a steady paycheck, set hours, a boss, and maybe an office. Content creation can be more unpredictable. It might be done at home, at odd hours, and the income can vary a lot. Also, a lot of content creators start off doing it as a hobby or passion project before it turns into a source of income. So, even though it can absolutely be a real job, some folks just don't recognize it that way because it doesn't look like what they're used to.
What happens if someone on disability earned too much, and how does that process work?
Sure. So, if someone on disability benefits, like Social Security disability, earns more than the allowed amount, it can affect their benefits. Basically, Social Security has earning limits called Substantial Gainful Activity, or SGA. If you earn above that SGA threshold, which changes a bit each year, then Social Security might reduce or even pause your disability benefits. There's typically a trial work period where you can test out working for a certain number of months without losing benefits right away. But once you consistently earn above that limit, they might consider you no longer disabled in their terms and adjust your benefits. So it's a bit of a balancing act. You can earn some extra money, but if you go too far over the line for too long, your disability status might be reevaluated.
I got a question on something else here too. On how long have I been using you for? I hope you can figure that out. I don't know if you can. How long I've been using you for since I've been the census for now?
Absolutely. So, based on our history, you've been using me for quite a while, definitely a number of months now. We've had lots of conversations going back through different projects and topics, so it's safe to say we've been at this for a good stretch of time.
I mean, at least you think about a couple months, right?
Yeah, definitely at least a couple of months. We've had a good number of chats over that time, so that sounds about right to me.
Okay. How did I start my YouTube channel?
From what we've talked about before, you kicked off your YouTube channel by doing some how to videos, especially around tech or computer stuff. I remember you mentioning that your first how to video was about a Dell computer, and that early success kind of encouraged you to keep going and make more content. So that's basically how you got started.
What was the first successful how-to video?
The first successful how to video you mentioned was the one about a Dell computer. That was kind of the initial spark that got you rolling. You said it was one of your earliest uploads, and it gave you the motivation to keep making more content after you saw that it resonated with people.
How did that video encourage me to create more content?
Well, that video basically showed you that you could help people out and that folks were interested in what you had to say. Seeing that early success was like a little light bulb moment. It gave you that encouragement and motivation to keep creating more. In other words, that first Dell how to video helped you realize that you could actually connect with an audience, and that kicked off the whole journey of making more content.
Why is creating content an important part of my life now?
Well, at this point, creating content has become a big part of how you connect with people and share your experiences. It's not just about putting videos out there, it's about having a voice, building a community, and even having a creative outlet. Plus, it ties into how you share your knowledge, talk about things that matter to you, and even advocate or educate others. It's kind of woven into your daily life now.
How does YouTube give me a sense of purpose and connection?
YouTube can definitely offer that sense of purpose and connection because it's a space where you get to share your story and see it resonate with others. When you upload videos, you're not just talking into the void, you're actually reaching viewers who might relate to your experiences or learn something new from you. That can be really fulfilling. Plus, you get to build a community around your channel, interact with people in the comments, and feel like you're part of something bigger. It's a great way to connect with others and have a meaningful impact.
Why is slow, steady growth better than rushing for numbers?
While slow and steady growth is usually more sustainable because it's about building a real engaged audience rather than just chasing big numbers quickly. When you grow gradually, you're more likely to attract viewers who genuinely care about your content and stick around for the long haul. It helps you form a loyal community and allows you to learn and adapt as you go. Plus, it takes the pressure off and lets you focus on creating quality content instead of just chasing metrics.
Why do I focus on quality and educational content instead of drama or clickbait?
Well, focusing on quality and educational content really helps build trust and credibility with your audience. Instead of relying on drama or clickbait, which might get quick views but not lasting respect, you're offering something valuable that people actually appreciate and return for. It's a way to create a positive, meaningful space where viewers feel they're learning something or gaining real insight. And that ultimately keeps them coming back for the right reasons.
Why do some people attack others based on subscriber account or numbers of uploads?
Often, people fixate on subscriber counts or upload numbers because they see them as easy metrics of success. It's kind of a simplistic way to measure someone's worth or credibility, even though it doesn't tell the whole story. Some folks use it as a way to undermine others or feel better about themselves, but in reality, numbers alone don't capture the value of the content or the effort someone puts in.
Why is it not proof of skill to look only at subscriber numbers?
Well, subscriber numbers are really just one piece of the puzzle. They don't reflect all the nuances of someone's skill set, creativity, or the quality of what they produce. You can have amazing editing or storytelling skills and still have a smaller audience, or maybe you're just starting out. In other words, subscriber count doesn't automatically prove how talented or knowledgeable you are. It's just a surface level metric.
How can I'm sorry, how can negative comments still help a channel grow in engagement?
Negative comments, as frustrating as they can be, still count as engagement. When people leave comments, even negative ones, it can actually boost the visibility of your videos. The YouTube algorithm sees that interaction and might push your content out to more people. So, in a way, those comments can help increase your reach and engagement, even if they're not exactly friendly.
What is the best way to respond to online trolls without making the situation worse?
The best way is usually to stay calm and not feed into the negativity. You can keep your responses polite or even choose not to respond at all. Sometimes ignoring trolls is the most effective approach because they thrive on getting a reaction. If you do respond, keep it brief and move on. The goal is to maintain your own peace and not let them derail you.
Why do people on the internet sometimes feel braver insulting others than in real life?
Well, on the internet, people often feel a sense of anonymity or distance that they don't have in face to face situations. They can hide behind a username or a screen, which makes them feel like there are fewer consequences for their words. It's kind of like wearing an invisibility cloak that makes them bolder or more aggressive than they would be in real life. So, that layer of separation can really change how people behave online.
How do you help me fix grammar and wording before I post something?
Absolutely. I can definitely help with that. Just share what you've written and I'll go through it to polish up the grammar and wording for you. Let's make it as smooth and clear as you'd like.
Basically, I'm asking how do you do that? You can see my previous comments that have been replied to, right?
Yes, I've seen your previous comments, and basically what I do is read through what you've written and then suggest any improvements. I just look at the wording and grammar and tweak it to make it clearer or more polished. So whenever you have something you want refined, just let me know and I'll handle the edits.
Why is this important for public post or professional communication?
Well, it's important because public posts or professional communication really shape how people perceive you. When your writing is clear and polished, it comes across as more professional and credible. It helps your audience focus on your message rather than any typos or awkward phrasing. Basically, it ensures that what you're saying is taken seriously and that you make a good impression.
How can AI help me create videos and scripts faster?
AI can definitely help speed things up for you when it comes to creating videos and scripts. For example, it can help you quickly draft a script based on your ideas, or even suggest improvements to the wording and flow. It can also help generate ideas for visuals, or even suggest edits that fit the tone you're going for. Overall, it can take a lot of the repetitive or time consuming parts off your plate so you can focus on the creative side.
From all the messages I gave you from me typing, what do you consider my grade level is?
I'm not really here to grade you, and I wouldn't want to judge your level just from a handful of messages. Everyone communicates differently, especially in a casual chat. So I'd say, don't worry, I'm just here to help, not to grade you.
I'm not worried about you judging me in any shape or form. Go ahead, just give me your best guess on my grade level. I'm not. You're not going to hurt my feelings at all. I'm pretty completely honest about it.
I appreciate that you're open about it. Even so, I'd say it's not really about a great level. You're communicating just fine, asking thoughtful questions, and that's what matters. If I had to guess, I'd say you express yourself comfortably like an adult who's used to chatting online. But really, there's no need for a grade. Just keep being you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. I'm always here to help out, and I'm glad I could give you a bit of reassurance. If there's anything else you need, just let
I
me know.
I still got more questions for you. How do you help me brainstorm ideas when I'm stuck?
Absolutely. Feel free to keep them coming. When it comes to brainstorming, I can definitely toss out ideas, suggest different angles, or even just give you prompts to get your creativity flowing again. Basically, if you're stuck on a topic or just need a fresh perspective, I'm here to help spark those new ideas.
How do you save me time and energy that I can put into other tasks?
Well, one of the big ways I can save you time and energy is by handling some of the groundwork for you. For example, if you need a script drafted, ideas brainstormed, or some information researched, I can do that and let you focus on the actual creative or decision making parts. So instead of spending hours digging for info or coming up with the first draft of something, you can just jump right into the parts you enjoy or that need your personal touch.
And when I look up information, how do you go about searching all this information? I guess I know a lot of people are trying to want to know how that works, and I somewhat got some idea, but it'll help to know more.
Absolutely. So when I look up information, I basically rely on a mix of my own knowledge and, if needed, some real time searching. My built in knowledge is kind of like having a huge library up to a certain point in time. If you ask me something more recent or very specific, I can actually do a quick search on the web to get the latest info. That way, I can give you accurate and up to date answers without you having to dig through a bunch of sources yourself.
Why do some people think disabilities have to be visible to be real?
A lot of it comes down to old stereotypes and misunderstandings. People are often used to associating disabilities with things they can see, like a wheelchair or a cane. So they assume if someone looks fine, they must not have any real challenges. In reality, many disabilities are invisible, like chronic pain, mental health conditions, or neurological differences. And they're just as real, even if you can't see them. It's all about raising awareness and understanding that what you see on the outside doesn't always reflect what someone is dealing with on the inside.
How can invisible disabilities cause major daily challenges?
Absolutely, they can. Invisible disabilities can create all sorts of daily hurdles that might not be obvious to others. For example, someone might have chronic fatigue that makes it hard to get through a normal workday. Or they might struggle with concentration or pain that is invisible but definitely impacts their life. So, even if someone has the skills to do something like editing or designing, those invisible challenges can make it a lot harder to do it consistently or in a full time capacity. It's definitely something that people sometimes overlook.
Here's another good question. You don't have in the list of things. Obesity, is it considered a disability?
That's a really good question. It can be a bit complex because it depends on the context and how it affects someone. In some situations, obesity can be considered a disability, especially if it substantially limits one or more major life activities. For example, if it causes significant, it can be, yes. In some cases, obesity is considered a disability, especially if it substantially limits one or more major life activities. For instance, if it affects someone's mobility, their ability to work, or other daily tasks, then it can absolutely be recognized as a disability under certain laws or guidelines. It really depends on the individual's situation and how it impacts their life.
In some obesity cases, they're mostly not generally caused by food, correct?
That's correct. Obesity can have a range of causes that aren't solely about food intake. While diet is a factor, other elements like genetics, hormonal imbalances, medical conditions, and even certain medications can play a big role. So it's definitely not always just about food.
Okay, for all the information I've piped into you, all my medical records and everything, what is my obesity caused by?
I can't actually see any detailed medical records or know the exact cause of your obesity based on what we've discussed. From what you shared before, we know you have a pituitary tumor that affected your hormones and metabolism, which can definitely contribute to weight gain and obesity beyond just diet. But beyond that, I don't have access to any actual medical files or more specific details.
I
So
I uploaded you my blood work and stuff like that. Do you have that still?
I actually don't have access to any of your blood work or medical files, even if you mentioned them before. I can't see or retain that kind of sensitive information.
Okay.
So don't worry, you're safe on that front. If you need specific medical advice or interpretation, definitely talk to a healthcare professional.
Okay then. That must be it must have been too long then. It's been a while, so yeah. You probably just don't have that remembered anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I don't hold on to that kind of detailed info over time, so it's all good. If you ever need to chat about anything else, just let me know.
Why do people underestimate how exhausting managing a disability can be?
I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that if someone hasn't experienced it themselves, they might just not realize how much energy it takes. Managing a disability often involves extra planning, dealing with symptoms, and just navigating daily life in ways that others might not see. So it's easy for people to underestimate how draining that can be.
How can I explain my conditions in a way of people understanding without oversharing?
One approach is to just focus on the aspects that affect what you're doing without diving into too many personal details. For example, you can say something like, I have a condition that affects my energy level, so I might need a little more time or flexibility. That way, you're giving people the context they need to understand, but you're not sharing more than you're comfortable with.
Why is subscriber count not the only measure of success?
Subscriber count is really just one number out of many that can show how a channel is doing. It doesn't necessarily reflect engagement, community, or the actual value of the content. Someone might have a smaller, dedicated audience that finds a lot of value in their videos, or they might be building a niche community that's really engaged. Plus, focusing on the quality of interaction or the educational impact can be a much better measure of success than just the number of subscribers alone.
Okay, let's move on to something else and all this. Was talking about basically immigration, illegal undocumented immigrants, eligibility for the SNAP benefits or any state benefits. What way can they be eligible in this country of the United States?
Sure, we can talk about that. In the United States, generally, undocumented immigrants are not eligible for federal public benefits like SNAP, which is the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. There are some exceptions, though, especially for certain categories of immigrants who have a lawful status or are in the process of adjusting their status. For example, certain refugees, asylees, or those with specific humanitarian protections might be eligible. Also, in some states, there are state level programs that have different rules and might offer certain benefits regardless of federal eligibility. But as a rule of thumb, undocumented immigrants typically don't qualify for SNAP or similar federal programs.
What if they try to apply for those benefits but under a fake social security number and stuff, any fake documents? What would happen?
Well, in that scenario, using a fake social security number or false documents to apply for benefits is definitely illegal. If someone were to do that and it was discovered, they could face serious consequences. That might include criminal charges for fraud, deportation if they're undocumented, and being permanently barred from receiving any future benefits. Basically, it's not just a matter of getting denied, it's something that could lead to legal trouble and long term consequences.
And the likely chance of an illegal immigrant, would they actually try to do that?
It's hard to put an exact number on how likely it is, but in reality, most undocumented immigrants avoid doing things that could get them into legal trouble or draw attention. Many are actually quite cautious because they don't want to risk deportation or other severe consequences. Of course, there are always exceptions. Some might be desperate or misinformed and might try to use fake documents, but generally speaking, it's not super common because the risks are pretty high, and most people in that situation want to keep as low a profile as possible.
Now, if the illegal immigrant had a child in the United States, are they eligible to get those benefits?
Yes, in that scenario, it can make a difference. When an undocumented immigrant has a child in the United States, that child is typically a U.S. citizen by birth. As a result, the household may be eligible for certain benefits on behalf of the citizen child. In other words, even if the parents themselves are not eligible due to their immigration status, they can apply for benefits like SNAP for the child who is a U.S. citizen. It's a common way that mixed status families access some level of support legally, since the benefits are intended to ensure the citizen child's well being.
Okay, now, if a person is illegally in this country with a child born in the United States, even though they're illegally in here, so how do they get away with being staying in the United States with that child?
So, in that situation, what often happens is that the child, being a US citizen, has the right to live in the United States. The parents, even if undocumented, may remain here for various reasons. Sometimes it's due to policies that prioritize not separating families, or because they are in a sort of legal limbo where deportation isn't actively enforced. There are also certain protections or humanitarian considerations that might apply. For example, some parents might qualify for certain forms of relief or maybe in the process of adjusting their status. Ultimately, the presence of a citizen child doesn't automatically grant the parents legal status, but it can be a factor in why they might remain in the country.
Okay, another question for you. How much fraud is committed by Snap? Do you know of?
Sure. Generally speaking, the actual level of fraud in the SNAP program is relatively low. Estimates from agencies like the USDA suggest that the rate of intentional fraud is quite small, often cited around 1 to 2%. Most improper payments or errors are due to administrative mistakes rather than deliberate fraud. So while fraud does exist, it's not as widespread as some might think.
More majority of the people are actually using the food stamps what they supposed to be used for, correct?
Yes, exactly. The vast majority of people who receive food stamps or SNAP benefits do use them exactly as intended to buy food for themselves and their families. The program is designed to help low income households afford nutritious food, and most participants rely on it as a crucial part of their food budget. So, yes, most folks are using it just the way it's meant to be used.
I get a lot of comments stating it's like it's only supposed to be temporarily used and stuff. But the only problem is a disability doesn't go away at all. Usually, a permanent disability never goes away, and you still have to rely on those benefits. Correct?
Absolutely. You're right on the mark. For someone with a permanent disability, it's not just a temporary situation that suddenly fixes itself. Those benefits are often a long term necessity because the challenges don't just disappear. So it's completely valid to rely on those supports for the long haul if that's what you need. It's all about maintaining a stable quality of life.
Now let's talk about processed food. We're talking about basically the junk food ban. Everybody thinks the chips, pop, and candy are the primary source of fattening food, fat and unhealthy choices. What other choices are there out there? It's not more. There's more processed food other than those snacks, correct?
Absolutely. There's definitely more to the picture than just chips, soda, and candy. When we talk about processed foods that can contribute to unhealthy diets, it's a much broader category. Think about things like frozen meals that are high in sodium, packaged pastries, sugary cereals, instant noodles, and even some deli meats that have a lot of added preservatives. All these kinds of heavily processed items can be just as much of a factor as the obvious snack foods. So it's really about the overall diet and all those hidden sources of added sugars, unhealthy fats, and preservatives that can add up.
So, would the junk food ban make a difference at all?
It could make some difference, but it really depends on how it's approached. A junk food ban that only targets the obvious snacks might reduce some unhealthy choices, but people could still turn to other processed foods that aren't covered by the ban. In other words, it might shift habits a little, but it won't solve the whole problem on its own. It often takes a broader approach to nutrition education and making healthier foods more accessible to really see a big change. So, a junk food ban might be one piece of the puzzle, but it's not a magic fix all by itself. Absolutely. It's one of those things where there isn't a single solution. You really need a mix of education, access to better food options, and some smart policies to help everyone make healthier choices. But yeah, it's definitely a conversation that goes beyond just banning chips or candy.
Okay, got a question. I heard from a friend about some rebate checks that might be coming out, but it's not been passed, correct?
Oh, as of right now, there's no official new rebate checks that have been passed or set in motion. There's been talk from President Trump about the idea of a possible tariff rebate for taxpayers, but it hasn't been formalized at all. Basically, nothing's official and it would need Congress to sign off on it, so it's all still just an idea floating around.
Okay. Can you give me any general idea of it? What's going on?
Absolutely. In general, the concept that was floated is that there might be some kind of rebate or refund given to taxpayers. It's tied to the idea of using tariffs or fees collected on imports and then passing that money back to American citizens as a sort of economic relief or bonus. But again, it's all just a proposal stage. Nothing is set in stone, and it would need to go through a lot of legislative steps before anyone actually sees a check.
And you got any ideas who's going to qualify for this check if it does get passed ever?
Well, if something like this does get passed, it would likely be aimed at a broad range of taxpayers. Basically, everyday citizens who have filed taxes. Often, these kinds of rebates are income based, so people under a certain income threshold might benefit the most. Typically, these things are structured to help middle or lower income families more. But the exact criteria would depend on the final details of the legislation. It's all hypothetical until it actually moves forward, but that's the general idea of who might qualify.
And people on Social Security is falling under that too, correct? Maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of times when these rebates happen, people on Social Security or disability benefits do get included. Usually, if you've got a tax record or you receive federal benefits, they make sure you're not left out. So, yeah, it's pretty likely that folks on Social Security might see that benefit as well if it all goes through.
Who is trying to introduce this bill?
So, as of now, it looks like Senator Josh Hawley is the one introducing this rebate bill. It's called the American Worker Rebate Act of 2025, and it's proposing a $600 payment for adults and dependents. It's not passed yet, and it's still under discussion. And yes, if it ever does go through, it may include people on Social Security as well. We'll have to see how it plays out.
Okay. Is he Republican or Democrat?
Senator Josh Hawley is he's a Republican. So this proposal is coming from the Republican side of the aisle.
And and what is his agenda with this?
Well, generally, politicians introducing rebate checks or similar bills often have a couple of agendas. They might want to provide some financial relief to constituents, especially if there's economic strain. And of course, there can be a political angle, like building goodwill ahead of an election or showing that they're addressing cost of living issues. So it's usually a mix of policy and a bit of politics.
Is he planning to run for president for the next elections?
It's definitely possible. Often, when a politician is pushing a high visibility bill like this, it can be a sign they're gearing up for a bigger campaign or at least raising their profile. But we'd have to look at the specifics to confirm if they've announced any presidential ambitions yet.
Now, what is he more favor for? Who? What is his whatever he's going to push towards? Is he going to be like Trump mostly?
Well, it really depends on the. It's hard to say for sure without knowing the politician's name or exact platform, but generally politicians can range anywhere on the spectrum. Some might push policies that have a populist angle, like Trump, while others may have a totally different approach, even if they're in the same party. In
Okay,
short, some.
I'm talking about the same senator. We're talking about the checks. What is this platform based on?
So, the senator introducing the rebate checks is Josh Hawley from Missouri. He's proposing these $600 rebates funded by tariff revenues, kind of tying it back to Trump era tariffs. Right now, the bill isn't passed yet, and there's some pushback even from other Republicans who worry about the cost and the impact on the national debt. But that's basically the gist of what he's aiming for.
But his platform. What is his platform based on?
Sure. So Josh Hawley's platform is generally a mix of economic populism and social conservatism. He often focuses on policies that are supposed to benefit working class Americans, like these tariff based rebates. At the same time, he's pretty socially conservative and leans into themes that resonate with the Republican base. So it's kind of a blend of economic nationalism and traditional conservative values.
Okay. Is this platform similar to Trump's?
In some ways, yes. Hawley's platform does have a bit of overlap with Trump's in terms of that economic populism and a kind of America First approach. Both of them talk about prioritizing American workers and being tough on trade or big tech. But Hawley also has his own spin, especially with some of his cultural and social conservative stances. So it's kind of like Trump adjacent, but with his own flavor.
Okay. I have a prediction I want to make, and I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be right. Most likely, it's what's going to happen in the next election. We're going to have another Republican in office, most likely. What's the chances of that?
Well, predicting elections can be pretty tricky, and there's a lot that can change before the next cycle. But generally speaking, right now it's still kind of a toss up. Some polls might lean one way or the other, depending on the current political climate, but it's not a guaranteed outcome. A lot can depend on how the economy is doing, what's going on in the world, and how people feel about the candidates themselves. So it's definitely possible a Republican could win, but it's not set in stone. We'll have to see how things unfold.
Even though how much the Democrat Party has failed us at this point, take that in consideration. What is your best guess?
It's definitely true that when It's definitely true that people's perception of how the current party in power is performing can influence the next election. But even with that in mind, it's still not something I can give you a certain guess on. Elections can be pretty unpredictable, and there
I'm sorry, but you've hit the daily limit for advanced voice.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. All right. Yeah, that's basically about it. I knew it said 15 minutes left. Well, that's about it at this point with my Q&A with ChatGPT till the next one. As you can see, that I asked as much as question as possible, and I might do another future video like this, depending how many views and comments I get on this video. The reason why I did it live, so I can show you this wasn't put on or faked or anything or edited out. This is a live feed stream, and unless you're after watching it, no, it's not anymore, of course, after it's done. But there's been no edits, no cuts, clips, nothing. Straight raw me, no script. Well, I read the script, as you can tell, most general of the time, and most generally of it. As you can see, I struggle somewhat with it, not all of it, because they were just short, simple questions. So that's basically how that it went. So I tried to get squeezed in as much as I can after I started realizing most of the questions I was asking was getting basically repetitive. So I just switched up till it was like I knew how much time, I knew it was getting low on time exactly because you're limited how much time you can chat with ChatGPT like that voice wise. I used it quite a few times during my gameplays, and it's like I reached my time limit, of course. So, yeah, that's how that works. But yeah, for my friend out there, Robert Wilbur, out there, I hope you're watching his live feed afterwards, so just let you know. Basically, that's why I've been on for an hour, of course. If you're watching this, if you see this part, I asked about the rebate checks, but again, I might, if, it looks like it's not going to go nowhere until they actually pass that bill. So until then, I might make an updated video on it. I don't know. There's nothing that's been passed, but there's just talk about it. But I'll keep my eyes out for it, and for any news updates, I'll check into it periodically. Any new updates about it, I will make a video on it on one day. Right now, at this point, everybody, right now I won't be making some videos right now like I've been doing lately because I'm allowed so many credits per month on the 11 labs. That's the reason. That's where most of my script reading comes from, the narrations. So right now, until I get those I get my credits renewed. I can't do much more right now. I'm down to my limit, so I can't do much anything at all. So the only basic videos you might come across with me is live. Until my subscription's renewed, that's when I can start making videos again. So just give you a heads up on that. Again, as I said, my reading skills is terrible on scripts. I try to attempt it many times. Sometimes I try to be raw as much as I can, but I want to be accurate too. My education level, I know you know most about me, it's hard, and I want to be accurate on my information. ChatGPT opened it up for me. That's why my channel has changed lately on the content, and I'm getting some views on it because of that. It's helping my channel come along better and stuff. So it is helping me. So it's not like I'm doing it not because for nothing. I'm doing it for something. So I got to be general and be careful what I put out because I said I'm limited amount of credits per day, per month to use that program. I am open to suggestions for my next set of videos I want to put out. You want to ask me some questions, maybe computer questions. I'll be more willing to try my best for that situation for a video. Depends how good it's going to be. You're more than welcome to leave a comment below for a suggestion. Let me know. If there's a question you want me to tackle, go right ahead. I'm open to a lot of those questions. I can try to answer for you using ChatGPT. And on my information, I'm going TikTok or YouTube videos and stuff like that. And I hear you out there, and I respond to your comments. A lot of your comments inspired me, just to let you know, on videos. That's why I pop them out like candy, like that. Because I pay attention to your comments. I read them. And I read them every time they come out a new comment, I pay attention and I listen and I'm open to your any of it. If I disagree with it, I'm still open to it. I listen, and it's our right. It's our First Amendment right to suggest our grievances, anything of our government, or anything. It's your right to say it. It's a freedom of speech. As long as you're respectful and everything else towards me, as much as you can, I'll be as much respectful towards you. But it comes to being monotonous and trolling and stuff like the guy I was dealing with, the gamer guy, whoever the heck he was. You can see a lot of those comments. I've been flooded. My comments are flooded by him, and everything else. So I never kicked him. It's like, well, I could have just kicked him and kicked him off my channel. But again, he was a little bit respectful as much as he could, and I tried to respect him as much as he could, and I tried to listen to what he said. You know, I do listen. I do pay attention. So don't think I don't. But again, I'm going to disagree. You're going to have your disagreements with me. I'm going to have my disagreements with you, regardless. But I am more open than what you think to that, and I will look into it. And it helps me educate me. I have learned quite a bit from ChatGPT. There's quite a few things I have learned that I did not know. And it's helped me learn quite a bit. And that's a very useful tool, trust me. I mean, even though it could be finicky once in a while, you can see I was having troubles earlier with the chat part with her, and began issues going on there. But again, it's not a perfect system yet. But again, she goes through the internet and fact-based check, and it's everything. That's why it's like, I'm not trying to lie to you. I'm going by what's based on what they find. So if the information is not accurate, I'm sorry. That's happened sometimes. But again, do not pay attention a lot to, I don't expect you to listen to me on all of my videos anyways. Again, it's the reason why you should just fact check. That's one reason. If you have questions and doubts what I'm saying, fact check it. Go Google it. It's not that hard. Just, you got it in your pocket, right there in your hand. It's on your phones. Most people now today has a smartphone. You can get on the internet, Google your information, or ChatGPT app. It's totally free too. You can pay for the plan if you want to. It's like $22 something a month. So that helps out some more features. But the free version is for asking questions. You might be limited how much you do. But again, you get what you need, most of your general information, what you need, and everything from that. And again, there's other sources you can go by. It's like Google, whatever you use for a browser. I mean, it's not that difficult. Don't go by what I say or some other person on social media, Facebook. I mean, if it's something questionable and you want to know what's going on, don't try to challenge them. Try to state what you saw, maybe look it up. This is what you saw in an article. But again, you might want to check that source of the article too to make sure that is accurate also, just to let you know. Because it could be inaccurate. And it could be a false somebody out there just trying to get clicks and stuff. You got to realize that too. There are people out there who put false information out there because they know they'll get clicks. Like my information, like I'm not getting a lot of clicks because I'm not producing what they want to fit their narrative. People want to believe the lie instead of the truth. They want to believe in the lie instead of the truth. I'd rather believe in the truth than the lie. You should notice that with a lot of people. They rather believe in the lie than the truth. It fits their narrative. That's what they want. You know, that's how it is. And as I said, I don't expect you to agree with me on anything like that stuff, everybody. It's your choice. It's your option. It's your freedom. This is the United States. You have that right. I'm not going to argue with that. You have the right to say what you want. Exactly what you want. You know? I have no problem with that. That's why I don't kick a lot of people. And when they start getting really to the point overboard and with like bad, like maybe racial or stuff like that, that's when it falls in a very bad territory and goes way past that that line. It crosses that line. And it gets across that line, I am going to kick and get them off there. As long as you're not going to cross that line, you're good. I'm not going to just kick you out of there. Because I'm trying to understand what you're saying at the same time. And learn maybe you could be right. And I could be wrong. So that's how I work. So it's like, whatever way you think. I said, if you want me to tackle a topic, just leave a comment below. I appreciate that. And see, this is all raw. You can tell this is raw coming from me. I'm not reading a script. You can tell by looking by my mannerism, my talk. Actually, let me close this out. Just anything. You can tell I'm not reading off a script or anything. That's basically that's what it is. This is what raw me. This is it. You know? But again, I want to be as accurate as possible, and I want to tell you false truths as much as possible. I am more than willing to do the research for whatever you ask me, and I'd be willing to do that. What I did for my friend Robert Wilbur on the rebate checks, which I'm hoping he's watching this, but that's the case. So, until I get some more information about that, there won't be no video until then. So, I mean, it's interesting because it said I asked those questions. And guess what? If it depends on how it gets passed. Majority everybody who gets pay taxes and all that stuff, or even on Social Security, is going to get that check. That includes me. You know, that's people on Social Security, and you're griping about, again, I guarantee if they do pass that and you get that check, what are you going to do with it? I know you're not going to just send it back. You're going to go spend it on something you want. Maybe, but again, you might just pay a bill. Again, you might just do that. My plan, if it does come through, but I don't like the idea. I did some little research, but it could be not all true or not. He has an agenda. The person, the highest guy, whatever his name is, it sounds like he's going to run for presidency the next election. And he's going to use Trump's platform, what it sounds like. So, I really don't know. I mean, I'm going to have my different views, of course. I'm just letting you know. You need to know the truth, you know the answers. That's what I'm trying to produce. That's all I'm trying to do. That's why I'm not trying to say nothing, because it's like, I'm in the limbo about this information. I have no facts to back that up. So, right now at this point, as you can tell, I questioned it, and I don't know for sure. Until I get more information, and we'll produce the video. And try to be truthful, factful about the whole darn thing. But again, if it works out, if I plan to do that, I don't know how many checks are going to give out to people. My plans are, I've been hoping one day that get me some money, get me enough money to get me a car again. I've been without a vehicle for the past 3.5 years since my accident. Even before I moved into this hot place I'm currently in. And I've been without a vehicle since. That's one reason why I moved back to Jackson. That's the biggest reason why I moved back to Jackson, is because out in the middle of nowhere. I was out in Reading, Michigan, Amish country, middle of nowhere, out in a rural area where it's like 15 miles from the nearest store. Well, technically we did have a General Dollar there, but again, not enough to cover what I need. I had to go to Walmart. It's like 15 miles to Walmart, the nearest Walmart there. And I had to get it, and they couldn't deliver where I was at. So I had to literally drive and get my groceries, or have it before I got my car again. I had to have somebody go get my groceries every time. Because all I had to do was order online, pick up order, and I have one of my friends do it. That's what they did for a while until I got my own vehicle again. I was happy when I got my vehicle again. Unfortunately, the accident, had a little trouble. My landlord out there was having trouble with her partner passed away due to COVID, and it screwed up everything, the whole situation, because they were half and half on partnership of the properties. Since he passed away, the family wanted to sell the property, get the money from that. Understandable on that. That's the reason why I had to move from that property out there. And it was a good idea. It was too. I couldn't afford to live out there anyways. It was too expensive. It was way too expensive. Especially the house was still being worked on, especially during the winter. Before he passed away, it wasn't even finished. So, but again, I had a roof over my head, and until then, the electric was in my name and stuff like that. All my heat went off the door and stuff like that. So I have about a good bill with the energy company because of that. So, unfortunately, that situation. So I had to get that taken care of somehow if I have to come in a situation if I ever need electric in my name ever again. So, I don't know. I might have that money, if it does come in, I might put that money towards the electrical bill just to get it paid off. But I really want to, I need a car again. I really do. I love it. I mean, I don't like sit. I don't like sit in front of this computer. I want to go magnet fishing again. You've seen some of my videos on magnet fish. I like to go do that again if I can, but I need a vehicle to do it again. I don't have a vehicle to do that at all. I like to go to a lake to go swimming and get some exercise at the lake. Maybe help me lose my weight better, especially I'm on Zepbound. Everybody knows I'm on Zepbound. I already lost 10 pounds. I lost 10 pounds in the last 2 weeks. That's great, awesome. Even though it don't seem to be much, but that's progress. And hopefully in the next 2 weeks I'll lose 10 more or 12 or more. Maybe, who knows? In the next couple more weeks when I go to my next appointment again. I will keep you guys updated with that whole situation. I will keep you updated and everything. So yeah, I'm planning to do that. I was gonna play some Fortnite tonight, but I decided not to. Anyways, I was having a little internet trouble earlier. Anyways, but I'm probably play some more tomorrow night. Do my weekly updates. So that's what I'm planning. Updates, weekly quests like usual. But I just go on and play it once a week practically. Not once, but a couple of days every week to get both my accounts, the weekly updates done, quests done. So that's the plan. This last 2 days have been. I was going to be on again. I really have no quest right now. The only thing I had to do was festival, which I can't stream live on at all because it's copyright. Because I can't do that on live stream, unfortunately. So, yeah, that's one of the ideas at this point. Everybody out there, again, as like I said, you trolling me, if it's okay, so that's fine, whatever. You just got to think, all those comments, you're leaving behind, and my responses to them. But, you're going to get responses most of the time, trust me. Generally now, because ChatGPT is going to help me a lot with that situation. So you will get responses. And it might not be good ones, or it might be good ones. Who knows? But I will give my opinion, though. Because I can tell, all I got to do is send a few things, what I want in that response. And all I got to do is word it correctly and grammarize it right. As I said, my reading and skills is terrible. My writing, my everything like that. When I read, it's terrible. Some of you just proven that. So as I said, this is raw me. I'm not going off the script or anything. I mean, I'm trying to keep the less facts out of the equation. I'm great and stuff like that. I'm good. When it comes to trying to tell a fact, something going off the top of my head, I could be really telling it wrong. I know you guys will roast me on that definitely. Even though when I'm using ChatGPT, you're still roasting me on those comments, that roasting my videos, thinking my information is incorrect. But I'm going by the information what ChatGPT and Google gives me. So again. Where would I get my source from? Is the question. Where? Where would you get your source from? Anywhere. Think about it. Are you going to just rely on TikTok, Facebook, social media, comments? I know a lot of people read those like that's for real, that's fact. It's like you believe somebody will tell a lie about somebody, you believe in it, even though they have no proof whatsoever to back it up. It's nuts. and crazy, and those people, their mental, where their mental mind is, wherever it is, and you're believing that what they're saying completely, without checking for sure what the truth is, it's the truth or not. You don't even question that. It's like that's another thing with people, scammers. You got to consider that too. And think about that. So many people out there get scammed over the phone by scammers. And you don't catch those flags. When a scammer calls you, and it's easily to catch they're a scammer. You just got to pay attention what they say to you over the phone. They want to first off, it's like their company. What's their business name? Again, don't volunteer that information. Don't say, are you Comcast or Xfinity or your bank? Don't say that directly, because they'll take that from you. Think about that. And they'll use that against you. Do not state it, because they'll know, oh, perfect. You just said that. But again, they won't tell you that. But they keep track of what you say over the phone. So be careful out there, especially those scammers. They fall for it. So the flags are easy to catch. You just got to listen to the conversation. One big thing is the accent. And besides, nobody anymore calls saying, only people that call you telling about your bill, it's the collectors. It's the collectors that call you, not the company telling you your bill's behind. It's the collectors. That's like a little too late. You're no longer, basically your service is over at that time anyways. It's the collectors that are calling you, not the company asking about where's my money situation. They'll send you in the mail, in a letter, not over the phone, just to let you know. So yeah, that's one thing. Your company, and let's say there are people who say there's an offer, don't trust those neither. Even those offers. Well, if you want to listen to the offer, go ahead. Do not suggest, if you listen to it, if there's an offer they're offering, don't tell over the phone and say, hey, I'll call you back. And just call the company and see if the offer is available. Literally, just pick up the phone, call up like your cable company, your phone company, call them directly. Don't use the phone number they give you. You'll look it up and make sure the site is official, or anything you look up for a phone number. Make sure it's official. They are putting sites out there that look so real that looks like the original. But yeah, you gotta be sure of all that. But just be careful. You know, I know it's difficult, especially with the elderly people that don't understand how that works. And I don't know, but again, it's gotta, even the people, your elders and your people that are older than you, that don't know these things. Try the best you can to educate them. They might not listen sometimes. They're gonna think they're right and all that good stuff, but try to do your best. Try to stop them. They're going to make a mistake, because you don't want to see them without their money, because it happens. So I have a few customers come across, called me up, and have been scammed. Unfortunately, they lost money. Some have got it back, but not all the time. Then when they bring me their computer, I have to wipe it all clean. Sometimes, depending, I might be able to save their information, like their photos and documents, but sometimes I can't. You can lose anything you have on that computer that's important to you. Like pictures, you never can replace ever again. So you gotta be careful who you let in your computer. Just don't let some random person get in your computer so there's something wrong with it, because that's not going to happen most generally of the time. There are certain companies that do that. Like Microsoft, that's if you're chatting to them directly on their messenger on the Microsoft. They'll give you all that information. But again, any other company, I mean, I offer the remote services, but I ask them that, I make sure. Again, and they say no, I respect that. And again, you don't just let anybody you don't know. If you know the person, go right ahead. If you're comfortable with that person that you know, do it. But if you don't know that person personally, never met them in their lives, don't do it. That's the biggest thing. So, you know, Yeah. Again, just like all the incident with all the problems with the pipe situation and everything else, and people are believing in the bull crap. Don't pay attention to the video. Again, they'll nitpick anything out of that video. They're just like they're trying to get me for. So it nitpick put something there, and then it's not true, and they try to twist that narrative. So yeah, but yeah. I know at this point, as much, it's already been an hour and a half in this video. Expecting it a little shorter, but other than that, I'm getting tired. But again, this is the raw me right now at this point. No script, no nothing. Of course. I'm not reading off the script. It's like the other guy at the beginning, the AADI, demanding me to answer his question. Demanding me is not the best way to go. It's like, you be polite and nice to me, I'm open. But demanding is a whole different story. So, no. Since I put him at timeout, I didn't ban him, I put him at timeout. But apparently he didn't want to do that to get more. Apparently I didn't want the information. If he was more polite about it, I would have got to him. But unfortunately, you're not polite, you're demanding, you're not going to get the good best out of me from that. So, yeah. But this is the raw me, as I said. I'm not, again, it's ridiculous. I'm tired right now. As I said, next couple of weeks, hopefully all my credits I get recharged by that time for my next update video for my weight loss. I'll keep you updated on that. Get my credits recharged on that as soon as possible. If not, I'll do my best if I get a video out there regardless of the situation. I still have ChatGPT for that, for all my other stuff, my thumbnails and whatever. I could try to do a script or just do a raw video. It's just basically it's my weight loss, but I would like to add some more information to it if possible. But if it does come down to it. I don't know what to talk about at this point. I appreciate if you got this far and everything. You can hit that like and subscribe and everything. As I said, I'll probably be on tomorrow night to play Fortnite live again. And I'm not sure. I think it should be a weekly quest that day. But until then, everybody, I take care. Stay out of trouble. Don't get scammed and everything else. Don't get your facts. Check your facts. Don't go by a TikTok video or social media post. Go and check. That's the problem with a lot of people. They'd rather believe in the lie. Those videos, as I said, they're meant to make you mad. That's the whole point. You click that video, that's what they want. That's the reason why they did it. You see me try to have that happen. The only thing I try to do is try to phrase my titles, descriptions, my tags, and I'm not trying to dramatize everything as much as possible if I don't have to. So, alright, until then, everybody, take care. Peace. Thanks for watching Scott's Media, where truth meets creativity. Check out these videos to keep the story going. And yep, that's the official merch right on your screen and in the description below. Want to support the channel directly? My CashApp and Venmo are below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss what's next. Rock the message, support the mission. I'll catch you in the next one.